not go to school. You will not eat inside this house. You will work in that shop from morning till night, and every kobo you make will come to me.
Mama, please, I'm only 15.
15 is old enough to pay for your sins. Your mother brought shame to this family. Now you will carry the burden.
Please, I'll do anything. Just let me go to school.
School is for children who have fathers. You have nobody. Now get to work before I remove this roof from your head.
Her name is Chidinma, and sometimes she wonders if she was born only to be punished. She was 15 years old when her mother dropped her at her grandmother's gate and drove away without looking back. She did not know that the woman waiting for her was not a grandmother. She did not know that she had just walked into a debt she would spend years trying to pay. Let me start from the beginning. I still remember that morning clearly. The harmattan dust was thick, the kind that stings your eyes and settles on your skin like powder. Chidinma's mother had woken her before sunrise, packed her few clothes into a nylon bag, and told her they were going to visit her grandmother. She was excited. She had never met her grandmother before. Her mother had always told her stories about the woman, how she owned a big shop at Ogui Road in Enugu, how she sold the finest lace and Ankara in the whole market. Chidinma had imagined a soft, warm woman who would hug her and give her sweets. She had imagined finally belonging somewhere.
But when they arrived at the compound that afternoon, the woman who came out was not soft. She was tall and sharp, with eyes that measured everything. Her wrapper was tied tightly around her waist, and her slippers slapped against the cement floor as she walked. "So, this is the child," the woman said. Not a question, a statement. Chidinma's mother nodded quickly. "Mama, I cannot keep her anymore. The man I married, he does not want a child that is not his. He said it's either her or him." "And you chose a man over your own daughter?" "Mama, you don't understand. I need to survive. If he sends me away, where will I go? Who will take care of me?" The grandmother laughed. It was a dry, bitter sound. "You are always useless. Even as a child, you ran after any man that looked at you. Now you bring your mistake to my gate? Mama, please, just take her. She can help you in the shop. She's big enough now. She can learn." Chidinma looked at her mother. She wanted to say something, to beg her not to leave, but her mother would not look at her. She was already stepping backward toward the gate. "Don't come back here," the grandmother said. "If I see your face again, I will pour hot water on you." The mother nodded once, turned, and walked away. She did not look back, not once. Chidinma watched her disappear into the dust. Her small bag was still in her hands. Her chest felt like it was cracking open. "Come inside," the grandmother said, "and don't cry in my house. Crying does not put food on the table." Chidinma followed her inside. The compound was big, with a shop at the front and rooms at the back. There was a woman sitting in the shop, threading beads onto a string. The grandmother pointed at her. "That is your aunt, Fatima. She helps me in the shop. You will help her. You will learn, and you will not complain." That was the day Chidinma understood that she was not a granddaughter. She was a replacement for the help that had left the previous month.
That night, the grandmother gave her a mat and told her to sleep in the corridor outside the shop. There was no mattress, no pillow, just the cold cement floor. "You will sleep here," the grandmother said. "I don't want strangers inside my house." "But Mama, I'm your granddaughter." The grandmother laughed again. "You are the child of a fool. That is what you are. Now sleep. Tomorrow you start walking." Chidinma sat on the mat and watched the grandmother walk into the house. She watched the light go out. She listened as the lock clicked behind the door. The night was cold. The dust was still thick in the air. Mosquitoes buzzed around her face. She pulled her small bag under her head and tried to think about something else, anything else. She thought about her mother. She thought about the way her mother used to braid her hair in the evenings. She thought about the smell of the akara her mother used to fry, the way it filled their small room. She thought about her mother's laughter, even when there was no food.
She did not understand how someone who laughed like that could leave her. Tears came eventually.
She let them fall quietly. She did not make a sound. She had already learned that crying was not allowed. In the middle of the night, she heard footsteps. She opened her eyes and saw a figure standing over her. It was Fatima, the woman from the shop. "Shh," Fatima said softly. She knelt down and spread a thin blanket over Chidinma. "Mama doesn't know. She sleeps deeply." Chidinma looked up at her. "Thank you, Auntie." Fatima touched her hair gently. "You will be okay. Just do what she says. Don't talk back. Don't cry in front of her. Survive." Then Fatima disappeared back into the darkness. Chidinma held onto that blanket like it was made of gold. At least someone had seen her. At least someone had shown her kindness. But that kindness did not make the night shorter. She barely slept.
Morning came too quickly. The grandmother woke her before sunrise with a bucket of water. "Wash your face, change your clothes. You're going to the market with Fatima." Chidinma rubbed her eyes and stood up quickly. Her body ached from sleeping on the floor, but she did not complain. She had already learned that complaints were dangerous. She followed Fatima to the market. Ogui Road Market was noisy and crowded. Women balanced baskets on their heads. Men shouted prices. The smell of pepper and fried fish and diesel filled the air. Fatima showed her how to arrange the fabrics on the table, how to fold them neatly, how to call customers. "Make sure you smile," Fatima said. "Even when you don't feel like it, smiling sells cloth." Chidinma smiled. It was a tight, uncomfortable smile. But the customers liked her. They called her small girl and patted her head. Some of them even gave her sweets. The grandmother arrived later, just to check. She looked at Chidinma, looked at the cloth, looked at the money. She did not praise her. She only said, "Make sure you don't mess up." Chidinma nodded. She had already learned that praise was not coming. That day, she sold 4 yards of Ankara. She held the money carefully and handed it to the grandmother. The grandmother counted it slowly, then put it in her bra. "Good," she said. "Tomorrow you do better." Chidinma did not know what better meant, but she knew that she had to keep trying. A few days later, a woman came to the shop with her daughter. The daughter was about Chidinma's age. She was wearing a neat school uniform with a blue pinafore. Chidinma stared at her. She stared at the uniform. She stared at the girl's shiny shoes. That night, she asked the grandmother, "Mama, can I go to school?" The grandmother stopped what she was doing. She turned slowly and looked at Chidinma with cold eyes. "School?" "Yes, Mama. I want to learn. I want to read and write. I can go in the morning and still work after. Please, Mama." The grandmother laughed. It was that dry, bitter laugh that made Chidinma's stomach twist. "School is for children who have people to pay for their school fees. Do you have anyone to pay for you?" "I can work for it, Mama. I can sell cloth after school. I can..." "Shut up." Chidinma's mouth snapped shut. "You think you are special. You think you are better than the other children. You are nobody. Your mother threw you away. Your father doesn't even know you exist. You have nothing. You are nothing. And you will not go to school while you are under my roof. Do you understand?" Chidinma nodded. Her eyes burned, but she did not cry. She had promised herself she would not cry. "That is your life now," the grandmother continued. "You will work. You will bring in money. That is the only thing you are good for, the only thing you will ever be good for." She walked away, leaving Chidinma alone in the darkness. Chidinma sat on the cold floor of the corridor and hugged her knees. She thought about the girl in the blue pinafore. She thought about all the children who woke up and went to school. She thought about teachers and chalkboards and books. She wanted that life so badly it hurt, but she knew it would never happen. Years passed like sand through fingers. 3 years, then 4, then 5. Chidinma grew taller. Her hands became quicker. She could fold cloth faster than anyone, cut fabric in straight lines, and count change without hesitation. But she did not grow stronger on the inside. Something in her was shrinking.
Every morning, she watched children in uniforms walk past the shop. They laughed and chattered, they carried books and bags. They went towards the school at the end of the road. And every morning, Chidinma turned away and started arranging the cloth. She stopped asking about school. She stopped dreaming about it. The dreams had become too painful, like touching a wound that would not heal. She learned to bury them deep, so deep that even she could not find them. But sometimes, late at night, when everyone was asleep and the market was quiet, she would take out the small notebook she had found in the street. It was torn with only a few pages left. She had found a broken pencil too. She did not know how to read or write. She had never been taught. But she would stare at the lines on the page and trace them with her finger. She would copy the shapes she saw on the shop signboard. She taught herself a few letters, the ones that made up the word lace. That was her secret. Nobody knew about the notebook. Nobody knew that she longed to understand the world of words. Fatima knew something was different about her though. Fatima would sometimes watch her with worried eyes. "Chidinma, you are becoming too quiet," Fatima said one evening. Chidinma shrugged. "I'm fine, auntie." "You are not fine. You look like you are carrying something heavy." "Maybe I am," Chidinma said. Fatima touched her shoulder. "One day, you will leave this place. You will have your own life. Just hold on." Chidinma wanted to believe her. She wanted to believe that there was a life beyond the shop, beyond the grandmother's sharp tongue, beyond the long hours and the cold floor. But she had been holding on for 5 years now. 5 long years. And she was tired. One evening, after the shop had closed and the cloth had been packed away, the grandmother called Chidinma inside. "I have made a decision," the grandmother said. Chidinma stood quietly, her hands folded. She knew better than to ask questions. "You are 20 now. 20 and still living in my corridor. I am tired of carrying you. From now on, you will start paying rent." Chidinma felt the ground shift beneath her. "Rent, Mama? But I don't have any money. I give you everything I make from the shop." "Exactly. You give me what you make. Now you will also pay me to sleep here. That is the rule." "Mama, please. I work from morning to night. I sell the cloth. I clean the shop. Do you want to stay here or not?" "Yes, Mama, I want to stay." "Then you will pay, or you will find another place to sleep." Chidinma nodded slowly. Her throat was tight. "Good," the grandmother said. "Now go and heat water for my bath." Chidinma walked to the kitchen. Her hands were shaking. 5 years. She had worked for 5 years in that shop. She had slept on the floor. She had gone hungry when the grandmother was angry. She had smiled at customers when she wanted to cry. And now she had to pay for the privilege of continuing. Fatima found her in the kitchen. She saw Chidinma's face and knew. What did she say? "Rent," Chidinma whispered. "She wants me to pay rent." Fatima's face went still. Then she shook her head slowly. "Chidinma, you have to leave. This woman will drain you until there is nothing left. You are 20. You can survive. You can..." "Leave to where, auntie? I have nobody. I have nothing. Where will I go?" "You have 2 hands. You have your skills. The world is bigger than this market."
Chidinma looked at her hands. They were callous from years of work. They had folded thousands of yards of cloth. They had never held a pen. They had never held a book. But they were strong. Strong enough to survive. "Maybe someday," Chidinma said quietly. "But not today. Today I have to heat water for her bath." She lit the stove and watched the fire catch. She did not know that this was only the beginning of her troubles. A week later, the grandmother came home with a man. He was old, much older than Chidinma. His eyes were clouded and his fingers were stained with kola nuts. He wore a long agbada and many rings on his fingers.
Chidinma was sweeping the corridor when they arrived. She stopped and looked up. The grandmother had a strange smile on her face. "Chidinma, come here." She put the broom down and approached slowly. "This is Chief Okonko," the grandmother said. "He is a wealthy man. He has land, he has money,
and he needs a wife. Chidinma's blood went cold. Mama, I am only 20. I cannot. 20 is old enough, the grandmother cut in. I was married at 16. You think you are better than me? He will take care of you. You will live in his house. You will never have to worry about rent again. Chief Okonkwo smiled. His teeth were stained brown from kola. She is pretty, he said. Young, but pretty.
Chidinma looked at him. She looked at the grandmother. She looked at Fatima, who was watching from the shop with wide eyes. Mama, please, Chidinma whispered. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to you? The grandmother laughed. Do you know how many years I fed you, clothed you, let you sleep in my compound? This is your debt. Now pay it. Mama, I will work more. I will sell more cloth. I will... Shut up. The grandmother's voice was sharp. Chief Okonkwo is a good man. You will go with him, you will be his wife, and that is the end of it. Chief Okonkwo stepped forward. He reached out and touched her chin. Do not worry, my child. I will treat you well. You will have your own room. You will eat every day.
Chidinma wanted to run. She wanted to scream, but her feet were frozen to the ground. Of course, the grandmother added, there are a few conditions. Chief Okonkwo's business requires a wife who understands finance. You will bring me 200,000 naira every month. That is your dowry repayment. Chidinma's mouth fell open. 200,000? Mama, I cannot. Then don't come back, the grandmother said. If you don't pay, you are not welcome in this compound ever again. Chidinma looked at the grandmother. She looked at the chief. She looked at Fatima, who had tears streaming down her face but could not speak. And in that moment, she realized something terrible. She had never been a granddaughter. She had never been family. She had been an investment. And now, the investment was being sold. She was 20 years old now. She was no longer the scared 15-year-old who had slept in the corridor. And sadly, that was when the real problems of her life finally began.